Underwood.
Here.
Kuhlman. Benson.
Here.
Hobgood.
Here.
Jones.
Here. Next, we have the flag salute by John Ross Elementary School.
Color guard attention. Audience, please rise. Color guard forward march. Those not in uniform, please place your hand over your heart. Color guard holds. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Color guard post the flag of the United States of America.
Here, go over there.
Color guard post the flag of the great state of Oklahoma. Color guard, honor your colors. Join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, return the reins. Color guard, about face. Color guard, forward march.
And as the color guard is making their way back up to the podium where they can introduce themselves while we're still standing, let's pause for a moment of silence to pray, reflect, or meditate, or engage in another silent activity. Thank you, and you may be seated. You can take the microphone out, and if you will have them each introduce themselves, what grade and what school they attend.
Centennial Elementary, and I'm in 3rd grade.
My name is Addison Boyer. I go to John Ross Elementary and I'm in 3rd grade.
My name is Kinsler Graham. I go to Ida Freeman and I am in 4th grade.
I'm James. And I'm in kindergarten.
Next up, we have possible consideration and vote to certify board member for district number 5. I see.
That would be you.
Yes. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Next up on the agenda, possible consideration and vote to reorganize the board.
We will need to swear you
Oh,
in
swear me in first?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's do that.
You can do it right here, you can go down.
Go in front of the apple so they can get a good picture.
I, Marcus Jones, hereby declare under oath that I faithfully perform the position of a member of the Board of Education of Edmond Independent School District, number 12, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma.
I, Marcus Jones, hereby declare under oath that I will faithfully perform the position as member of the Board of Education of Edmond Independent School District number 12 of Oklahoma County, Oklahoma, to the best of my ability, and I will faithfully discharge all duties pertaining to said office and obey the Constitution and laws of the United States.
I, Marcus Jones, do solemnly swear to affirm that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America and constitutions of the laws of the state of Oklahoma, and I will faithfully discharge, according to the best of my abilities, the duties of my office during the time as I am member of the Board of Education of Edmond Public School District.
That's it. We're good?
Okay, moving on to superintendent comments.
Oh, number 3.
Number
Reorganize.
Oh, sorry. Possible consideration and vote to reorganize the board.
I make a motion Courtney Hopgood be our president and Jamie Underwood be our vice president.
Second.
Yes.
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 Moving on to superintendent comments.
Thank you. I want to just start out and congratulate you, Mr. Jones, on your election, and thank you for your service. I know you put so much work into your election, and I don't know if everyone realizes just how much work it takes to run for a public office, and this is a public office that does not pay anything. And the hours they put in, it's not just a monthly board meeting. I've said this many times, especially right now. It's 3-4 nights a week doing interviews. It's going to school plays and school musicals. It is being out there available to answer emails and questions and then to read a packet. And so I just want to thank all of you for your board service, but specifically congratulations, and we look forward to the next 5 years of having you on the board.
Thank you.
Next, I wanted to talk about shelters as we are moving into the spring season. I know it snowed yesterday, and I was like, but we're going to talk about tornado season in the middle of the snow, because that could happen tomorrow. You just never know. One thing I just want to make sure, I feel like most people know, but every one of our school buildings has a storm shelter. And we are ready and prepared to shelter and protect our students if weather moves in during the day. We have a plan, we have a place, we practice those drills, but it's also important for the public to know our shelters are not public shelters. They are not open. So if you live next to a school and you think, oh, I could just run to the school if a tornado's coming, we do not go and open our shelters to the public. Also, if weather is coming in during the day, there is a point where if we are sheltering, we will lock the school doors because the principal, the secretary, everyone needs to move into the shelter. And we will keep everyone safe. So if you're thinking, you know, there's a tornado on the way, I'm going to run up and grab my child real fast, you need to rethink that. Plan ahead. Because one, there's probably about 200 of you parents doing the same thing. And then also at some point those doors will be locked and you don't want to be outside and can't get in. You need to seek shelter where you are and trust that we have shelters at the school and we will shelter students and keep them safe. No one wants to get trapped traveling and being in between. So it's important to think about that ahead of time. Also, just 2 things I did not have on here, but one, I want to remind everyone of the Celebration of Excellence tomorrow. I know you guys have had that on your calendar for quite some time, but it is going to be a beautiful event where we just get to highlight education. We highlight our support employees of the year, our teachers of the year, our rookie of the year, our leadership award, and it is a time to just go see all the great things that are going on in education, specifically in Edmond, Oklahoma. And so I ask you to come out and support our teachers, and just, if you need a feel-good moment, be at Memorial Auditorium at 6:30 tomorrow night. You will get all your feel-good feels there tomorrow night, I promise you. I also just wanted to comment on our boards on the back. I hope you were here able and got to look at them. We have in all of our elementaries a student support team, and in all of our secondary schools a foundation team, and they pretty much run or the leaders of the MTSS, multiple tiered systems of support, for each of their schools, and that is finding all the supports that a student needs to be successful. Not just academics, but is it behavior support? Is it emotional wellness support? What supports do they need, or possibly even their family need? And if you got to go back there and look at their data, their academic, you see students moving from red to yellow and from yellow to green. You see those behavior charts of number of incidents coming down. That is all happening because of the work of the teachers in our buildings. And so it is great to go back there and see the data that supports the work that they're doing. Because if you can do the work all the time, but you need data to show that it's successful, and that's what's back there on those boards, of the data that shows that they're working and supporting our students, and we're seeing the growth in that. So I want to thank those teams specifically for the work they've done, not just in putting the boards together. Those boards are just a sample of all the work that has gone in for a couple of years. We've been doing this for several years, and they always present them to each other, and it just happened to be, and we thought, why not just keep them here, have them here, so that everyone can see it and share all the excitement and what we see every time that you guys could share as well. So thank you, teams, for all that you're doing and for bringing that tonight and setting it up.
Number 6, public participation. Oh, sorry. Number 5, special recognitions.
All right, this evening, I have the honor to recognize our amazing leader and principal at San Diego High School, Mr. Jason Hayes. Mr. Hayes was selected as the OASSP High School Principal of the Year for the state of Oklahoma. Let's give him a round of applause. I'm just going to take a minute to brag on Mr. Hayes for a minute. So, Mr. Hayes has been an educator for almost 30 years. 18 of those years have been spent here in Edmond, and he's been the principal at San Diego High School since 2012. In that time, he has made a lasting impact on both our school and community. In his time as principal, San Diego has grown not only in size, but in achievements. Under his leadership, the school has become a national provincial school. The school's AP exams administered has increased to over 1,500 each year, and students are performing above the state and national averages. San Diego has experienced growth and success in its fine arts and athletics programs, having won numerous state championships or runners-ups in everything ranging from volleyball, baseball, basketball, track, to academic teams, jazz band, and esports. Mr. Hayes has worked to create and foster an environment at San Diego where every student truly feels like they can belong and has access to numerous opportunities and chances to identify their interests and to thrive. Mr. Hayes cares deeply for our students and staff, which is why it's no surprise that he was selected as the High School Principal of the Year for the state of Oklahoma. We are so proud of Mr. Hayes and appreciate the example he has set for all of us. This opportunity and this award comes with the chance for him to represent not only Edmond, but the state of Oklahoma at the National Principals Conference this summer in July. And all of the secondary head principals will be there as well to support him in that endeavor. So we're very excited for Mr. Hayes. So again, congratulations to you.
We'd like to do a picture.
You're right in the middle. Take it, yeah, step up for the light and then take one step to your left. Okay. All right, 1, 2.
All right, if you're looking at your agenda, next up, we're going to recognize Deanna Boston. Deanna couldn't be here tonight, and so we will do that next month. So we definitely want to recognize her. But our final recognition tonight is for those of you that have ever taught in a classroom, that first year of teaching is the hardest. You learn a lot. And we, several years ago, decided to start recognizing our Rookie Teacher of the Year for our district, and a committee has chosen Megan Knight as our Rookie Teacher of the Year from Westfield Elementary. And we're going to have her principal, Crystal Smith, say a few words about Megan.
So it seems seems very strange to call her rookie because it seems like she has been there forever. She's quickly become an expert in our building. Just today we were talking and her sentence started with, so this weekend I was researching strategies on, and was collaborating about a student with me. She's one of our special education teachers and she works with our youngest students. And so watching some of the parents maybe have their child's first school experience be with her and they're nervous, and then they come in and she builds that trust and relationship with them is just a very powerful thing. So we are very blessed to have her at Westfield, and I am so excited that she is getting this recognition.
Okay, now number 6, public participation. Possible consideration and vote to the following action items. Number 7, possible consideration to vote and award bid of new elementary school subcontractors under the Construction Manager L5 Construction LLC in the amount of $25,500,000.
Yes, so this bid last week had really great turnout, really great subs, really some solid numbers. Yes, it is over budget from what we had planned. There are many, many variables that attribute to that. A couple of the big ones are the tariffs we've been getting. Whether they're actually in place or not, they're speculating when they will, so they have to plan for that. It's an 18-month project, so they've got to forecast 18 months versus everything else you're going to see tonight from me on budget, on track, but it's a 4 or 5 month project max. So if you don't have any questions, I recommend we approve.
What happens if, with the tariffs, when they are actually buying something, since it's a year and a half away, what happens if it goes down? Do we just go ahead and we've approved it and we pay the 25% extra?
We will never know one way or the other.
We're
They
moving
usually are a
forward.
little more willing to work with you when you have issues.
Okay.
You said there were a lot of variables. Can you just, what are some of the other variables?
So one that makes it easy to stand out, this design is nearly identical to Scissortail and how Scissortail opened, but it's 5,000 square feet bigger. That's $2 million alone. That's just with changes that between Scissortail and Redbud and the staff that we felt would be better.
You said it's smaller, I'm sorry.
5,000 square feet bigger.
Bigger, okay.
Yeah. Right now, there is more work than there are people in construction. Every person that bid on this, we requested to be sure we had a number. So they're bidding a relationship, not a job.
Where did you add the 5,000 feet?
One of the big ones was in the cafeteria. We kind of made it wider rather than deeper. That added a couple thousand. There's an extra classroom stuck in one of the corners that we didn't have before. That's the majority of it.
Are the pods bigger?
Yes, so
Than
the pods
Scissortail?
are, I believe, 4 or 6 feet wider than Scissortail.
Okay.
So is that like a happy medium between Scissortail and Centennial? Or not Centennial, Redbud?
Initially, the pods were too wide, or we thought they were too wide, so we went skinny on one, and it didn't work out to set 2 classrooms comfortably. So we went back somewhere in the middle so that it works out better.
Kind of learn from our mistake or whatever.
Correct.
you wanna call it. This firm, L5 Construction, I noticed further down on the agenda, they're doing another $2 million job. You said they're having trouble getting workers. Is that going to be a problem that they're doing?
No, on the general contracting side or the CM side, there's not issues there. It's the people putting the work in place that there are the issues. So,
Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve L5 construction for the new elementary school.
Second?
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 8, possible consideration and vote to approve Dow Ponticos as construction manager as award bid for subcontractors for Cheyenne Middle School roof and HVAC replacement in the amount of $860,765.
yes, so this project is 99% replacement on all rooftops. I've already ordered the materials. This is the labor. And this building was built in 2000, so we've got a nearly 25-year-old roof. It's actually in decent shape still, so we're doing a coating on it, so it should buy us another 10 years on that. Again, good numbers. My contractor was expecting 1.2, and this is falling exactly where my number was. So
We got a lot going on, don't we?
it's that time of year.
Do I have a motion?
I motion that we approve the bid with Dow Ponticos as construction manager and award the bid to subcontractors for Cheyenne Middle School roof HVAC replacement in the amount of $860,765 to be paid from bond funds.
Second?
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 9, possible consideration and vote to approve L5 Construction LLC as construction manager and to award bid for subcontractors for Summit Middle School cafeteria ceiling lighting upgrades in the amount of $2 million to be paid for from bond funds.
Yes, so this, a good mix of a remodel, kind of getting everything from top to bottom in the central of that school. It hasn't had a lot touched cosmetically in there besides some tile on the walls. We're having some issues with the flooring there, so this will for sure take care of all that. I recommend we approve.
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve L5 construction for, as the subcontractors for Summit Middle School cafeteria.
Second?
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 10, possible consideration and vote to approve Dow Ponticos as construction manager and to award bid to subcontractors for Westfield Elementary School in the amount of $662,486 to be paid for from bond funds.
So for Westfield, this is a full LED lighting upgrade from top to bottom, left to right. Never really done one this big. It also includes our control system for the lighting. Any of our new schools has it. It's a big deal on the sensory side for the dimming and the softer lights. Numbers, again, really solid. I recommend we approve.
Will these be where when you, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
when you walk in, the light comes on and the light goes off if there's no movement?
Yes.
Can you explain to the public, it's not just going in and changing light bulbs? Is there a lot of electrical that goes along with this?
So I don't have a good example in here. The only time we change a light bulb is when it's a can light like that. Actually, those lights are what we're changing out to a flat panel.
So is there a lot of electrical?
There are over 1,000 lights like that alone. So, yeah, and you have to run low voltage to every light that's not there right now.
You have to run the voltage, okay, because it seems like a lot of money to change a light bulb, but it's more detailed
Oh,
than
yeah.
that. Okay.
I move that we approve Dow Ponticos as subcontractors for Westfield Elementary School.
Second.
Coolman,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 11, possible consideration and vote to approve Dow Ponticos as construction manager and award bid for subcontractors for Orvis Reisner Elementary restrooms update in the amount of $300,000 to be paid from bond funds.
So this is kind of a small project to break into a big one for Orvis. On the bond, it says to do all the restrooms and also some stuff with the office, work on their secure entry. Wasn't really planning on doing this one yet, but I had a little bit of breathing room on one of our contractors. It didn't quite have enough work to keep the people we have on the job full. So kind of squeezing in a little bit, I also do not like to do all restrooms in one time because no matter what, when we work with sewers, we will have a backup. It's inevitable. So hopefully we won't shut the school down with the sewer backup, just doing a couple at a time. We've done many of these across the district, no issues. I recommend we approve.
So what's the time period of this?
We'll be done before summer.
Before summer, okay.
Can I get a motion?
I motion that we approve Dow Ponticos as construction manager to award bids subcontractors for Orvis Reisner restroom updates in the amount of $300,000 to be paid from bond funds.
Second?
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Hobgood.
Yes. 12, possible consideration and vote to approve quote from Standard Roofing via the TOPS contract in the amount of $395,726 for Central Middle School roof to be paid for from bond funds.
Yes, this is just one of kind of our standard roof upgrades. About every 20 years, we try to make sure our roofs are good and get them updated, especially if they're the ones having leaks. This one's kind of in the center of the school, having some issues. It's also kind of the center point of quite a few additions, which usually causes issues for us. So we'll get this one squared away. It'll get that building somewhat back to near new. Standard has worked for us on various jobs for the last forever. Do good work. I recommend we approve.
Will they be fixing all the damage that the wind had on Central?
That is already done.
Oh, good, okay.
So this is just a portion of the roof?
Yeah, our roofs, our buildings are actually made up of, if we're lucky, we only have actual 10 buildings within one building. That's how they're broke up, between firewalls, add-ons, and all that stuff. So we can break roofs down rather than having to do the whole thing at one time.
Right, and this will be done?
You know, it's very rare for us to, in the past, to have had a school that was continually built over a consecutive few years. Central's the greatest example. We've had that since the 50s. I mean, it's been added on to 15 times, I believe.
At least.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this will be done over the summer also?
Correct.
And this meets all the roofing needs for Central at this time?
There's some more we would like to do, but they're not as pressing.
Okay.
So
We just don't have the money to do them all right now?
it's another one of those deals. It's tough to tackle a whole roof at once.
You wouldn't have it done by some?
No, I wouldn't have it done by summer. And the other areas, I can do a different type of roof or a coating to buy it more time because it's having less issues. So,
Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve Standard Roofing for the roof at Central Middle School.
Second?
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Hobgood.
Yes. Possible consideration and vote to approve amending the new renewal of a 5-year interlock cooperative agreement between Edmond Public Schools and the City of Edmond and the YMCA related to the operation of competitive swimming, the swimming pool at Mitch Park.
Thank you. Good evening. This agreement is a renewal. When the pool was first built, there was a 5-year agreement that went between the City of Edmond and Edmond Public Schools on how we would split expenses. The way this really works is the YMCA bills the City of Edmond monthly for And again, I do not like the way this thing was drafted. I don't know who drafted it 12 years ago. We talk about we're going to split actual expenses. And you look at the definition of actual expenses, it's the difference between total revenue and total expense. So why didn't they just say, we're going to split net income or loss? But at any rate, it says we're going to split actual expenses, and that's not really important. The idea, though, is the city, or the YMCA bills the city pays the Y monthly, and then on a yearly basis, the city bills Edmond, and we pay the city half of those actual expenses. So you take all of the revenue. Anytime a Jinx swimmer, we get to use it free. We can practice and have our meets there for free, but anybody else that uses that competition pool pays a fee to the Y, and that's the top part of this equation. And then the expenses, well, a big expense is insurance. The Y insures the whole complex. A long time ago, and I think it's probably not a bad idea, they took square footage, and based on that square footage, they said that 35% of the square footage is the pool. So Edmond, City of Edmond, and Jinx, we split 35% of the total insurance cost, 17.5% each one of us, what we end up paying for the insurance. However, that insurance has really gone up dramatically. It had a 65% increase 2 years ago and a 20% increase this year. And so that is one thing that really concerns me, is how much that cost for insurance has gone up. Other things, I guess, that were negotiated a long time ago, we split 85% of the water bill. I guess because we have a pool that's got a lot of water in it. We split 45% of the natural gas. Again, this was all negotiated several years ago. This agreement is not any different than the other two that we've had, other than the fact, because expenses were going up so rapidly, I chose to do a 3-year contract with a cap on it of what we would have to spend. And that's why this one's a little bit different than the other 5-year agreements, but still same intent, try to share the cost 50-50. So be happy to take your questions.
I have some questions. Okay, so we signed the agreement with the city,
Yes.
but the Y is a party of this also. And so it's my understanding that as far as us, it would help us out if the revenue were increased, that is collected. Who sets the rates for renting the pool?
Again, the poor drafting, there really is mute. It does not, you would think that the City of Edmond and the city would set the rate because we get 100% of the revenue, but it's totally silent on who sets it. So right now, the YMCA is setting the revenue.
We don't have any say-so on that?
Per the documents, no. Per common sense, we should have a lot of say.
Well, can we change it?
I have I've asked for a meeting with the city, with the Y, so that we could get something on paper that covers issues just like this.
Do you know why the agreement is just between the schools and the city, and the Y wasn't part of the agreement, like signed by all three parties?
As 12 years ago, I really don't know. There is an agreement between the Y and the city, but there's no agreement between the Y and Edmond Public Schools.
And Edmond Public Schools. I would like for this to be worked on, because I think that if we are responsible for a percentage based upon the net income, then we should have some say-so or some control over the revenue part of it. If we need to increase the rates, then we should be able to have some say-so in that.
I totally agree. We also, I think, if not having some control over the expenses, we ought to have some audit capabilities over the expenses. Because right now, all we get is a piece of paper once a month and pay your half.
So does the Y
You don't get
provide?
go ahead. You don't
I'm
get
sorry.
you don't get an itemized sheet of.
Well, we get an itemized sheet that says chlorine. We get an itemized sheet that has a list for, we rented it to Bison Swim Club. There's probably 20 items there. So yeah, we do get an itemized sheet, but.
Monthly?
Yes, monthly.
Monthly, okay.
The city gets it monthly. They give it to me yearly. I'm going to start asking it for it monthly and started reviewing it a little closer because these costs have doubled in the last 10 years. And we just got to control that.
So the bottom line is we're not getting our fair share.
Well, we don't know. That's not really,
I mean, and is this agreement taking care of a lot of this that you're telling us?
No. This agreement continues on, the city and Edmond Public Schools splitting these net expenses 50-50. It does not do anything of putting any control over what the revenue is or auditing the expenses, which I would like to do. If I'm having to pay half of them, I would like to at least be comfortable that they're being spent wisely. Right now, there's, and I've never met anybody at the YMCA, but they really don't have any thing to make them want to control costs. Just
Right.
send us a bill, we'll pay it.
yeah, I don't feel like it's us not getting our fair share. I feel like it's just a lack of, I just think it needs to be restructured in a way where we have a little more say-so on something that we're paying for.
And again, it probably is completely on the up and up.
Right.
But just the way it is now written, I feel kind of helpless, like we're all saying.
Yeah.
Our costs are going up. We get 100% of the revenue, but we can't decide what the revenue is going to be.
Right. And I think they are great partners. I don't want anyone to misunderstand that. I think they're great partners. I just think the contract needs to be looked at again before we approve it. That's my recommendation.
I agree with you. We really need to get it done the next 2 months.
Okay.
And I will work post haste to get it to you next month. But this
I'm confident
existing
in it.
agreement expired last June 30. And so we need to have something in place before June 30 if we continue on paying the city their bill on 1st of July.
Okay, I understand that. That would be my, I move that we table this so Jim has time to meet with the parties involved.
I do appreciate your efforts to look at, because when we brought that up 2 months ago, I really appreciate your efforts to do that. And I didn't know that the rates hadn't increased in 7 years, you said. And the insurance for everything has just rapidly gone out of control.
Truthfully, I didn't know that either until Marcus asked me today. And when I answered his question, it's like, oh gosh, that's true.
Yeah. So I appreciate your efforts to, I don't feel like anybody's taking anybody. I think it's
No,
just,
not
sometimes
at
when
all.
you move along, you start seeing things that were missed. And just to come to an agreement, I think is all we're looking for. We're not angry.
Yeah, and we think they're great partners. And we're not
Yes.
bad-mouthing them. We just need to rewrite the contract, I think.
Okay.
So I move that we table this. I think I made that motion.
Yeah.
right? Yes.
No, second.
Underwood,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
14, possible consideration and vote to approve new position, Director of Secondary Education.
Yes, this is a position I've sent to you earlier in the month. We actually talked about this last year or a couple years ago when we added the elementary position. Just about with our number of schools and the support that our schools need, it's more support than one person can give. And so last year we added the elementary position, and you asked at that time for us to address secondary. So as we are working through the staffing process, this is our request to address the secondary. The model will be very similar to what we've used with elementary, and we have seen it work. When Kara or Debrion, if they're in a meeting and there's a crisis, they have to leave the meeting, or there are times when we have 3 or 4 things going on in this district at the same time that needs someone at a building, and they can't be everywhere. And then just the support in helping our people grow and being there to walk them through different hard decisions. And so we are asking that we add the director of secondary to mirror what we've done with elementary.
I have a request on this. I agree that this position is needed. As everyone knows, we are in the process of hiring a new superintendent. And so I would request that before interviews take place, that we try to coordinate with the new superintendent so that person can be in on the interviews and on the selection process, because this person will be part of their cabinet.
Absolutely. We'll need to, I mentioned that in my updates, but I forgot to mention that just now.
So no hire until that person is available.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve the new position, Director of Secondary Education.
Second?
Benson,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Hobgood.
Yes. Number 15, possible consideration and vote to approve the name of the new elementary school number 20 and middle school number 7 located at Air Depot in Cobell.
Yes, Mr. Ferguson has been asking us since this fall to get this school named because the architects and the designers need names. It helps them to plan the interior part of the building if they kind of know the name. As you've seen, many of our school designs, the interior features and highlights the name and, part of that school. So following the protocol that we usually use, we asked for the community to submit names. We put it on social media and advertised that we were soliciting names. We had 97 names suggested. We went through, we cleaned up a few of those names. For example, someone submitted that we name the new school Scissortail. We already have a Scissortail. Or maybe they suggested that we name it after someone who is still living. It doesn't meet our criteria. And we took the list of names that met the criteria to a committee. And there were many members on that committee. There were teachers, parents, community members, board members, and the committee met the first time and just narrowed down the list because it was a big list. And so they narrowed that down and came up with 2 suggestions for the middle school and 3 for the high school. But they took their time and went back out to research or to look.
For the elementary and
Yes, what did I say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, not high school.
Sorry. Thank you. There were, let me get it right. 3 names for the elementary, 2 for the high school, 2 for the middle school. What am I doing? I'm going to start all over. 3 for the elementary and 2 for the middle school. And they took those names and went and researched and looked at them, and then they came back for a second meeting and to discuss what they had found on their own. And then they are making a recommendation to the board, and they are recommending for the elementary Pleasant Grove and for the middle school Horizon.
Well, I appreciate the meeting. How many committee members actually were able to attend?
There were 2 absent at one meeting, and there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 people, so there were 12 there.
Okay, at the first meeting. What about, or the second meeting?
I just have the minutes from the March 25th.
Okay.
There was only 1 member absent at the first meeting.
Okay.
At the second meeting.
I was kind of, maybe I misunderstood. I was kind of under the impression that we were going to, because it's an elementary and a middle school, trying to kind of coordinate the 2 names. We've been really busy and haven't had a lot of time to, I think this is an important decision, and I also want the public to know that we often look to the committees to do research for us that, and things like that, but they don't make the selection, the board does.
And I think that was conveyed to the committee, and I do want to make sure we understand this was just a recommendation.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but if I'm not happy with the name, that's just the duty of the board is to name this, and I've taken this in consideration. I would like some more time to, I know, Jason, you're just going to have to, I would like to wait to table it, to wait another month. I don't think had time, there's some that had similar names that we wanted more time to look at that, similar facilities that were in the state that we didn't want to have the same name as, and I would just like more time to look at this, think about this. It's an important decision that I don't take lightly. I wasn't happy necessarily with the selection. That's just me. I'm just one board member. I realize that. So it would be my request to table it, to give us a little bit of time because we've been so busy.
You have to make a motion.
So I want to hear other people's thoughts, but I move that we table this.
I will second that.
Let's talk about it first.
Well,
Let's talk about it first.
You talk about it at this point.
Yeah, we always get that messed up how we do it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
No. I wanted you to go ahead. Yeah, I'm just defending, making sure.
Well, I feel like that our process is we take the community's input, the committee does their work, the committee comes back a second time. It sounds like they had all the elements of the, even a board member, and community members and parents, and I feel like they've done their work, and they come back, I understood from my notes is it was a unanimous vote for both names. And so I lean more to honoring the committee, because I figure that the five of us can come up with a bunch of different names and not agree. And so that would be my thing, is if you come up with a name, now we're down to five, and what if, where at least it went through a vetting process and there were more people in the committee, because it was, would you say 14?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, I
more
would
than.
just like to see more of the list. I know I've been on the board for a long time, and we've often, like I said, it's a recommendation from the committee. We've often, I know in the past, we've picked the third name on the list. We've never before asked for them in order or anything like that. We've always asked for, we've gotten a list of 5 to 10 names before, and I thought that has worked out well. So I don't remember, maybe we've gotten them in order before, but I know we've had a lot more names to look at. And a lot of it's just the time from when we got it to be able.
Well, I've lived it, yes, we
Yes,
have been
I know.
super busy. There's
Yes.
no
Yes.
question about that. There hasn't been a lot of.
I have a question, and it's just about how were the names decided? Was it elementary school broken up and then middle school broken up, or were they all deciding both names together?
I will answer this, and Debrianne and Kara were both there, and if I don't say it correctly, I would ask that Kara or someone. They started out the meeting together, and Leanne, you were there too as well. They started out the meeting together, talked about the process, kind of looked out, and then they went into separate rooms to really kind of narrow it down and do the work, and then they brought it back, just to make sure you didn't want both schools to pick the same name or to pick names that didn't
Which
go
they did.
together. Which
Yeah,
they
they
did.
did.
And that's why they went separate and then came back, and so they were all together, but yet worked separately.
So the pool of names was just a pool of names. It wasn't, I would like these for elementary and these for.
No, they could suggest both, but there were a lot of crossover.
Okay.
There were names that were middle school names, and there were names that were elementary school names. And so we divided into two groups, and I believe Mrs. Coleman joined the secondary group, and they all went into a room with Dr. Rose and Mr. Bardock, and they went over the list of secondary names, and there was a highlighting process to narrow down. While we in the elementary room were doing the same thing. Because Mrs. Coleman was the only board member able to attend, we then gave her the elementary list as well. So she got to do the process with both of those. So yes, out of all of the names that were submitted, sometimes it said, I like this one for a middle school name, so we put it on the middle school list. Sometimes it was both, and we would put it on both. And then we went through a process to narrow down within each of those groups, and then we came back together.
My concern and I'll just tell you, I was on the committee and attended both of them. There wasn't a very good cross-section of our community. I mean, we had a teacher and a principal of one middle school on the elementary, and a teacher and a principal of an elementary school on the other committee. Then we had 4 administrative team members, is that correct? So that's 8 people right there. Then we only had 1 gentleman. I mean, the meeting was at 9 o'clock in the morning. A lot of people probably could not attend at that time. I would have liked to have seen, like, you know, a cross-section, maybe somebody from Redbud, somebody from different Scissortail, different areas to have that vetted process.
Were they chosen because of the schools that feed into?
Yes, yeah. So for elementary, I can speak to elementary. I don't want to answer for Ms. Davis, but we both had, I looked at kind of, we don't know who's going to attend this new school, but we clearly probably aren't going to have somebody on the west side drive all the way over to the east side. So I looked at that, and then we had 2 parents, we had an administrator, we had a teacher, and then we had 2 community members, and then same thing for secondary. They had 2 parents and principal. The 2 community members divided. One stayed with me in elementary, one went with secondary.
But if there were 14 people, we divided into 2, that's 7 people that were looking at just elementary and 7 looking at middle.
We followed the criteria that was set, and we went over that in the first meeting to show like the people that would be on there. So that's what we followed, and that's what we went with.
And that criteria was sent to you like a month or so before they had their first meeting?
Like I said, we've been busy, so.
I got a question, and it just has to do with, I actually like the names individually, but my question is we have them together. So these schools are going to be on the same site. And so Frontier, Heartland, I wasn't on the board during that time, but Frontier and Heartland seem to go together really, really well. And I don't know if it's because that's just the way it's always been, or if it's just kind of like, you know, the definitions of the words that they are, I can get my brain around both of them together. I haven't been able to get my brain around Horizon and Pleasant Grove yet, but I would love to know if you have anything that could help me get my brain around that to make that.
The committee, and I'm trying to remember which administrators, if they're in the room, were on the committee, but actually the committee talked about how they felt like the 2 did go together. So ironically, that's interesting that you said that, and I don't know if it's because they've been in the room looking at all the name submissions, and truthfully speaking, when you start weeding out those that don't meet the criteria, or those that are duplicate names of our schools that we already have, or those that are just inappropriate names where the community was probably a teenager, to be truthful, being funny, you're limited a little bit on what's there. And so when they looked at that, that was actually one of the criteria they wanted to do, was names that would go together well. And they felt like Horizon and Pleasant Grove, if you think about the area that's out there and what it's going to look like, they actually thought it went well. So.
Another problem that I had with Pleasant Grove is that is not an area. That area is, if you look it up, I did spend some time looking at that, and it's Lincoln Township, Lincoln County. It's more towards the Luther area.
Yeah, they weren't naming it or suggesting it because of the specific area. I'm talking about just like geographically what it looked like out there. It looked like just Horizon and Pleasant Grove, and then they kind of started talking about, not that you're supposed to, but what mascots, you know, could go with some of those too, just thinking of what options could come from that. So
actually, I drive by that all the time, and I think the Red Rock name goes better because there's a lot of red dirt out there. So anyway, I would just like more time to think about it, but it's whatever the board thinks.
Well, I think there is some sort of motion out there lingering, so.
Yes.
Do you want to repeat the wording of your motion?
Yes, I made that we tabled this to have more time to consider. Leanne?
Second.
Underwood,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Benson,
No.
Hobgood.
No. Possible consideration and vote to consent agenda. Are there any that you would like to pull, Ms. Benson?
It happened so fast. No.
Mr. Jones?
Let's do 21 and 23.
Ms. Coleman?
Just a minute. Just a minute. I wrote it down, but I think I wrote it down wrong.
What was the topic?
It was the administrative salaries.
Oh, that's an executive session.
Okay. Then I don't have anything.
Ms. Underwood?
Okay, I'm trying to look at 29A, no, I'm sorry, 29. What is this? Oh, we're all over the place here. The trip that said that we were going to Enid, but it was actually to Stillwater,
Stillwater.
did that gets changed on the?
Yeah, it is, the contract that you're voting to approve, the contract is correct, so,
Okay, so we don't need to
No.
amend that, okay. I wanted to ask a question about number 19, just a quick question, and 29A.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agendas excluding 19, 21, 23, and 29A?
So moved.
Second.
Benson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Hobgood.
Yes. Number 19.
That's me. A quick question, I guess this would be for Jim.
on the agreement with Patton and Odman.
The patent on them. So is this the same cost as we've been paying? Okay, that's all I wanted to know. I move that we approve number 19.
Second.
Underwood,
Yes.
Coolman,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Hobgood.
Yes. Number 21, approve maintenance renewal for Fortinet firewall from Arrowit in the amount of $26,626.18 to be paid for by technology bond funds.
I just have a quick question, and it has to do about E-rates and
Yep.
how we're getting reimbursed for it. And just can you kind of explain it?
E-rate works where we're 50% district, which that's tied to our free and reduced numbers. And so there's two types of ways we get reimbursed. One is the SPI method, which means we wait until all the approval process is done, then we order the product, we pay for half, the vendor goes out to USAC and collects the other half of the purchase from them. The bear method, which is the method we use when we're doing software renewals and we don't get it approved in time, we're waiting on E-rate to approve it, and we're gonna have it regardless. We will go ahead and make that purchase and pay the full 100%. Then when it gets approved, Kellogg files the paperwork, and then we get reimbursed back the 50% at a later date.
And that's what's happening in this regards.
Do what?
And that's what's happening on this current one, correct?
Yes, the
Okay.
renewals, I will wait. The renewal for the firewall is not due until the middle of July. I think it's July 15th. So I will wait up until that point, and if E-rate gets everything approved, then we will use SPI. If it gets to a point where they're not going to approve it in time, then we'll go with the bear method. So on those renewals, we wait till as long as we can until we have to get the renewal done.
So it's almost like you're encumbering the money right now, and you might be using less. You might be only having to pay half of what we're approving tonight. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the full amount. That the most we would have to pay if for some reason E-rate didn't approve it, we would still have to do this anyway. With the equipment on one of the others, that equipment we don't have to buy, so I will wait until it's approved, because if it's not approved, we can get by waiting until next year and file that again, so.
Perfect. Thank you so
We
much.
have a good chance it'll be approved. Have you ever had it not?
No, we've never had anything not approved. We've had a few items that didn't qualify on a couple things, but the bulk of it has always been approved ever since I've been involved with it,
Okay.
so.
I make a motion that we approve maintenance renewal for Fortinet firewall in the amount of $26,627.18.
Second?
Jones,
Yes.
Coolman.
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 23, approved purchase of 40 Dell laptops for St. Elizabeth and Seton from Dell Technologies in the amount of $35,100 to be paid for Title I funds allocation for St. Elizabeth and Seton.
I am quite aware that this is not going to EPS. It's going to
I'm like, am I
a private
wrong?
school. But I would like for you to kind of explain the process as to how a public school district like ours has title funds that are meant for private school that funnel through us.
Yeah, we have several partnerships with private schools in our area, so not all of them take advantage of their title funds, but those that do, we are the purchasing agent for those private schools. So it doesn't take away from anything that our kids are getting, but basically, if they follow the same rules as we would, so contracts or amounts like this that require board approval. It is a lot of work keeping track of everyone, but that's what it is. So we actually order it for them. They'll come pick it up, and so we have titles 1, 2, 3, 4. So different title or different private schools opt into those different title grants, and we meet once a year with them. We actually had our meeting a couple of weeks ago, and so representatives from each school come, and we just talk to them again about the rules, and this is how you budget, this is what has to happen to make sure that you approve their purchases. So this is one of those.
Who keeps track of the amount of money that they get for Title I?
So that falls in our office. So our federal programs clerks and Andrea Wheeler, our federal programs coordinator, keep track of those. Yes.
Wonderful. Make a motion that we approve the Dell laptops for St. Elizabeth and Seton in the amount of $35,100 to be paid from Title I funds for Elizabeth and Seton.
Second?
Jones,
Yes.
Coolman.
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Number 29A, renewal for Eben YMCA, Mitch Park YMCA using swimming pool for 25-26 school year.
Okay, this is kind of a financial question. So just because we are looking at the contract, so one of the pools is the Mitch Park Y. So is that the amount that we are going to pay? Does that go into the total revenue that
It's,
okay, Jim's shaking his head no.
I was going to say, it's a separate contract, so it's paid through special ed funds. It's just for the students that are receiving special ed services to go and use that pool.
But they're not using the competition pool?
No, they're just going for like
So why
adaptive
would we charge our
PE.
own?
Yes, adaptive PE and like Special Olympics, but they don't use it for competitions like that.
Okay.
They do that in the ranking as well. They go for during the day.
So it's not part of the revenue that the Y gets? Okay. Interesting contracts going on. Okay, that's all I want to know. Thank you very much. I move that we approve item number 29A.
Second?
Underwood,
Yes.
Coolman.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. Can I get a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Coolman,
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Benson,
Yes.
Underwood,
Yes.
Hopgood.
Yes. We have returned from executive session. No votes were taken and
Only the items on the
only the
agenda.
items on the agenda were discussed. 36, possible consideration and vote to approve proposed certified personnel actions listed on Schedule A. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 37, possible consideration and vote to approve proposed support personnel actions listed on Schedule B on the agenda.
So moved.
Oh, go ahead. Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 38, possible consideration and vote to renew employment contracts for 2025-26 teaching staff and other certified personnel as recommended by site administrator, subject to assignment by superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Possible consideration to vote and approve assistant principals for 2025-26 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 40, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for Charles Haskell Elementary School Principal. Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I recommend Dr. Angela Mays.
I move we approve.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 41, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for high school assistant principals. Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I recommend Keely Gilpin.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 42, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for middle school assistant principal.
Yes, I recommend Dana Williams.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 43, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for Edmond Santa Fe High School boys basketball coach. Do you have a recommendation?
Yes, I recommend Terry Evans.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 44, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for Edmond Santa Fe High School girls basketball coach.
Yes, I recommend Madison Moore.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 45, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for Edmond North High School girls head wrestling coach.
Yes, I recommend Colby Robinson.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 46, possible consideration and vote to approve recommendation for controller.
And yes, I recommend Shelley Lutz Wilson.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. Sorry. 47, possible consideration and vote to approve administrative salary amendments as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes. 48, new business?
There is no new business.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Yes.
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 Yes.